Hi, I'm the Tabletop Teacher, and in this video, we'll take a look at the Heroclix Turn Sequence, the different phases of a turn and the actions you can take during that turn. There are 4 phases in the Heroclix Turn Sequence. There are things that must or can only happen at the beginning of your turn. Then there's a phase for all the actions you choose to give your characters, the action phase. And when you're done giving those actions, there are a few things that happen at the end of your turn. And finally, there's the clear phase when we tidy up for the next turn. Some very important things happen in the beginning of turn phase. In the 2017 Powers and Abilities card, these are identified by underlined text. There are 2 common things you have to keep in mind. You'll be removing smoke and/or barrier markers you might have placed in the previous turn, and you must roll for leadership. If there's a character on your team with leadership and you forget to roll for leadership at the beginning of your turn and you start the action phase, well, that leadership roll is lost. You still get the extra action, you don't need to roll for that anymore, but you won't have the opportunity to remove an action token from an adjacent friendly character. In the beginning of turn phase, some characters have to make a choice of some kind, like choosing powers, roll for a game effect to activate, or be given a special token or have special tokens taken away, or choose a target for some special game effect. In several of these cases, if you omit to do whatever it is you had to do in the beginning of your turn, you will have lost that opportunity. This is why, at the beginning of the game and at the end of every turn, I prepare a stack of tokens, one for each action of my action total, and place one of my dice on top whenever I have a character with leadership on my team. The die is there to remind me to roll for leadership or take care of some other beginning of turn effect before starting the action phase. Newer character cards also use underlined text to help you quickly spot things that must be taken care of at the beginning of your turn. For you more experienced players out there, know that poison is not a beginning of turn power anymore. It must now be activated in the action phase. And the same goes for all free actions actually. Free actions like Sidestep, Outwit, and Perplex, as well as many special powers in previous sets, cannot be activated before the action phase. In Heroclix, when it's your turn and you want one of your characters to move, attack, heal, or just do about anything that involves a choice to be made on your part, you have to give that character an action to do so. And those are given in the action phase. There are different types of actions. A move action allows a character to move on the map. A close action allows some sort of attack that, in most cases, can only be made if your character is adjacent to an opposing character. A range action allows some sort of attack that can only be made against an opposing character that is, in most cases, at least 2 squares away from your character. And a power action allows for other types of actions that can be any number of things, like a combination of movement and attack, healing your character, creating barriers, or moving things with your mind. These are called costed actions, meaning there's a cost to using them, and that cost is an action token. You must give your character an action token immediately after giving it one of those actions. There's a limited number of costed actions you can give your team each turn, most often 3 for a 300-point game. A character can only be given a single costed action per turn, and only if that character has no action tokens or 1 action token. Some characters can be given a costed action even if they have 2 action tokens, notably those who have colossal stamina, but that's for another video. So, if you played this 300-point 4-character team, no more than 3 out of the 4 characters could be given a costed action on any given turn. If you played this 300-point 2-man army, no more than 2 costed actions could be given at any given turn. Sure, your action total is 3, but you only have 2 characters and they can't be given more than 1 costed action per turn. That potential third action is lost. That's one of the reasons many competitive players prefer to have teams with a lot of characters. Every once in a while, you might come across a character that has a special power or trait that requires a double power action to be activated. Those usually trigger some very powerful effect. A double power action can only be given if the character has no action tokens, and when you do, you immediately give that character 2 action tokens. Pushing damage applies, so characters that don't have willpower will usually take 1 unavoidable damage when this happens. Apart from that, a double power action still only counts as a single action towards your action total for the turn. Free actions like Sidestep, Outwit, Perplex, and Poison can only be given in the action phase. When a character is given a free action, it does not get an action token, and your action total remains unchanged. If a character has a variety of free actions available, it can use each of them once in a turn. After you've given all the actions you wanted and could give your characters, it is now the end of your turn. The end of turn phase is similar in a way to the beginning of turn phase. It's another moment in the game where you have to check and make sure you've done everything you were supposed to do before moving on. If there are things you have to take care of at the end of your turn, it will say so on your character's card. You can quickly spot what you have to take care of at the end of your turn on newer character cards. Underlined text is also used to draw attention to those. Once you're done, you can start clearing action tokens. The first thing you do in the clear phase is removing action tokens from each of your characters that did not receive an action token this turn. If one of your characters received an action token for any reason on your turn, that character cannot clear this turn. Colossal characters that are given a costed action through Colossal Stamina do not get an extra action token, but still cannot clear at this moment. Now, some characters love to clear because they get some benefit from clearing. Drax heals 1 click when he clears. Dr. Fate can remove a host token so he'll have a better chance at holding on to the Helmet of Naboo. You can get rid of that slash marker Katana put on your character when he clears. Make sure to check the character cards for these game effects, but know that if a character had 0 tokens at this time, it cannot clear, and no effects from clearing can be activated for it. Sometimes a turn can take a little longer, and then it's easy to lose track of which character was given an action on this turn or the previous one, making it harder to determine which character can clear now, especially with larger teams. So, to help me keep track of this, I like to use 2 sets of different color tokens. When I clear my action tokens, I prepare, as I mentioned before, a stack of tokens for my next turn. Well, on each turn, I alternate colors. So, if I've been using orange tokens this turn, I know that characters that have orange tokens cannot clear. The blue ones are clearing this turn. And if I push a character, the latest color is always the one on top. It's tidy, plain to see for both players, and could help you manage your action total more efficiently. You don't want to position a character in one spot to help with this other character's attack, thinking you have one more action to go when you don't. It might take a few games to get the hang of it, but you'll love it when you do. So, that's how a turn sequence works in Heroclix. Do you have thoughts or questions? Share them in the comments below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the Tabletop Teacher. Please take a moment to check the rewards for supporting this channel on Patreon, and as always, thanks for playing with me.